But we're moving, and the City Hall project is a good example of getting that council moving in and almost to a person. They've been, some of them have been slowly coming on board, and it's been a challenge. I mean, spending that kind of money is not an easy decision.
I understand that, and you're absolutely right. But it's been a real challenge, as you said, because with the economic situation as it is, I can understand some of the council people being a little bit reluctant, a little bit more on the cutting edge about whether we should do this or not, and I'm sure they've thought about it, those sort of things. And after all, let's wait and see what goes with the economy. Now, ordinarily for most cities, I think they're probably good thinking. Fortunately for Bowie, because of their good management over the years, it's an opportunity to move ahead.
Exactly.
And I think, as you said, it's almost like putting an improvement on your home. And you know how keen I am on economic development. We haven't even touched on what influenced your operation, the city's operation, the new City Hall. It's going to influence people that will invest in the community and hire people.
Absolutely.
And we have some big employers in Bowie, a 500 employee company. And I think these things are noticed. And if you, as I looked into the economic development area a lot, when I hear about a community that had great success, in one case, at one time, Prince George was dragging a little bit behind Montgomery County and Virginia County, and Anne Arundel was doing better. I put everyone in a van, and I said, let's go up here in Beltsville. Business after business was closed. Where did they move? They moved to Anne Arundel County, right near, beyond the Laurel area, and we just circled that area. These guys didn't recognize it. They didn't know we were losing business because all of the emphasis, let's attract the guys. What you do, and it's a case where our businesses in the community, hopefully, will maintain that sort of attitude because of the winning situation in Bowie, Fred. It'll affect the retailers. And you think, well, how does one thing and one idea and one building influence people? But it does.
Well, look at the example at Town Center. First project I inherited when I came on board. Let's get this project done, and for 10 years, it is now it's 100% occupied, and there's been a couple of little moves in and out. Across the street, Buchanan Brothers came in and looked at Bowie. They made the investment of building a 160,000 square foot, 4-story green office building on speculation. They didn't have a single client when they started that construction. Then we heard that there was a large company up in Annapolis called MedAssurant that had outgrown its space in Annapolis. And we had our folks up there extolling the virtues of Bowie. Brought them down here. They looked at the building here. They looked at that building. They looked at the community. MedAssurant took that entire building. They leased the whole building, and they put 500 new jobs into the city. The City Hall is going to go effectively across all of there. So all of that's coming together. And if you look on the other side of that is where we put the gym, we put the senior center, got a new fire EMS station going in there. So I think investors look at the stability of the community, the safety of the community, the availability of a quality employment area, of quality residential areas, and where they feel like it's a hometown. And I tell people we're the biggest little town around.
I remember a few years ago, Fred, we talked about inner city transit. I've noticed there's a lot more people taking advantage of the buses coming through the community. I've noticed more stop locations. And we don't have a lot of that like you may have in some communities, but it provides a young person getting home from school that has an opportunity to go to work at one of the economic areas. And I'm saying any.
Yeah, it's not sufficiently broad to meet a lot of the needs. It's primarily geared to get residents from here to the major job areas, employment areas, D.C., Annapolis, Baltimore, and whatever. Unfortunately, if you're a young kid and you're living in Point Ridge and you want to go to Rockledge, it's still a challenge. The cross section of that is for this. We've looked over the years for look at the pros and cons of the city thing. It's an incredibly expensive operation, and unfortunately, I don't think the consensus is here yet to spend that kind of money or to move in that direction. You know, maybe, so that may be one of the things that our successors will be looking at 10, 12 years from now.
Well, they may be, but you know, I looked into that as well. Laurel had great success with that idea, but it didn't start off that great.
No.
And part of the reason we were talking about the employment centers for people that lived in Laurel was District of Columbia or up in Ellicott City or Columbia, and there was no transportation in that direction. So it was a tough effort. I know the Chamber of Commerce was very involved in that. And that may have worked out real well for them. But let me touch on the senior citizen buses.
Oh, okay.
I see them all over. They must,
you get to ride them, don't you?
I haven't been on one. I'd like to drive one.
You're eligible, aren't you?
Oh, I'm eligible. You can bet on that. But I just have become.
Oh, okay.
I understand you got to be 62.
55.
Oh, 50. Well, I'm eligible.
You're eligible.
But what about?
It's a great system. The facilities that the city operates and manages for our senior community is incredible. It's hard for people to realize about 20% of our population now is over 65. The two fastest growing population cohorts in the community are over 65 and under 25. One of the things we've done is to try to bring those senior facilities close to where a lot of seniors live. Seems like a self-evident thing, but you know, it was something that took a little getting there because the city had made plans, I guess, back in the early 90s to build a senior facility up there off of Old Chapel Road, which is way out of the way, and it would have, in retrospect, cost a ton of money more to build than the one we built now because we would have had to redo the whole highway system in order to fix it. The location that it's in now is accessible and it's adequate. And I tell people that it's another great example of what people in Bowie can do, because when it was time to build that, we just put a bunch of seniors in a room, and I remember talking to them and said, what is it that you want a senior center to be? And they came up with some great ideas. We took those great ideas to an architect and said, can you build this and what would it cost? And they did. And if you go into that building, it is something the city can be really proud of. I get people from all over the state coming in and look at that building.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I think we can wrap on that because it's such a great thing to happen. And
so you're not going to invite John back now? Is that what this is about?
He's going to have a tough time getting back on if you're available, Fred.
Mr. Rouse, if you're watching, I want you to look at the things I've just stolen from you.
That's exactly. Well, John, I hope you're tuning in. And we should be tuning this program or showing it at 7 o'clock each evening, beginning Thursday week, probably. But keep tuned, and thank you very much for viewing Bowie News and Views.
Glad to be here,
Thanks,
bud.
Fred. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.